Ciao. I think that's Italian for hello, I believe.
Santino Marella, Santino.
Did we actually saying his name at the beginning of the thing? Was that actually his
That's
name?
his theme.
I never knew that was. I never
What
knew
did you think was?
I thought it was
just a random Italian. That was his theme.
I never knew they were actually saying his name.
That's his theme.
I didn't know they were saying his name. I've never properly listened to it.
Well, you should.
Hi, it's Ellie May. You've met me before, and today I am being your local fact checker. And I'd just like to let you all know that Baby Sam is a complete and utter idiot. It is not what he says it is. It is not Santino Marella, whatever it is. It's not that. It is, in fact,
La vittoria mia e mia.
there we go. And the lyrics in English are, victory is mine. Baby Sam, you're an idiot. And I hope you fall down the stairs. But don't, die or anything. Maybe just a sprained ankle, but yeah.
Hello and welcome to Sam's on Wrestling. And this is the Power Rankings. And just for my baby of Sam, who is here, and I am Sam, we are doing Santino Marella. Because for some bizarre reason, you really like Santino Marella.
You know what it is? It's because he gets a lot of hate, I think, because everyone, I think everyone associates the silly PG era with Santino
yeah.
And him being it's almost he almost gets associated with someone like Jar Jar Binks. that is literally him. People think he's Jar Jar Binks. He is not Jar Jar Binks. Jar Jar is rubbish. Santino is the Anakin of the PG era. He's well, actually, that's not great.
I'd tone it back a little bit.
I love Santino. I think he was hilarious. People take wrestling too seriously sometimes and can't understand there was a place for ridiculous and silly comedy. He wasn't a main eventer. He was an endearing... He only got there at points, which was... I'll get onto that.
Yeah.
But he was a brilliant comedy character in a world of really bland nothing.
He stood out because of it.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to talk about
sorry,
Santino.
Are you telling me that him calling John Cena John Chenna is not hilarious comedy? No, it's not, but it's because it's from the PG era. People just dismiss it.
John laughed.
Oh, yeah.
John
broke Cena. Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to get on to Santino because this is what we're going to have to do with. I'm not going to do much talking this one. I'm just going to let him run on every single one. If you're not familiar with the Power Rankings, we have 10 wrestling categories. We give them a score out of 10. We then give them an overall score out of 200. And we put them onto our leaderboard. Santino will go onto our overall and mid-card leaderboard as he's won the Intercontinental in the United States multiple times. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And let's find out where the man who puts a sock on his arm and pretends to be a snake is. Wrestling ability, their ability to do moves in the ring. Sam, where have you started with? Your best friend, Santino Marella. 10?
He is. This is going to surprise you, but this is... Right, it's a 5.
Oh, okay.
I've got to be honest. Right, he's not, moving-wise, the best wrestler. He has some solid moves, but he's not a really great technician.
Another martial artist.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the overarching theme here is that you don't always need to have great wrestling ability when you have loads of other great stuff. And you can be quite simple as a wrestler and still really work and get over. So I think technically wise, he had a few decent moves, but it wasn't amazing.
Do you know, I think you make a really valid point that some people go, well, this person's rubbish in the ring. I went, yeah, but they've done everything else and that doesn't matter. I always go to Rock and Austin. Rock and Austin are quite average workers, particularly after Austin broke his neck. But they are the greatest, most over wrestlers there's ever been. Hogan, a crap wrestler, greatest over wrestlers ever been. You don't need to have all the skills if you're doing other things. I've actually got Santino at 5. I actually agree with everything you're saying, and I think you're absolutely right. Because he was doing other stuff, he didn't need to be doing, 450s and all that stuff.
No.
So, yeah. 5. We move on to their storytelling, their ability to tell story in the ring. Now, before we get going, I know Sam is going to rank this really highly because of essentially one amazing piece of storytelling. But remember, it's storytelling over a course of a year or a course of a long period of time. So let's guess that Sam... I'm going to guess some of your scores.
Go on.
Because I haven't seen them, I don't know. I'm going to guess that you've ranked Santino 8 for storytelling.
Spot on. I don't know if you've looked.
I haven't.
No, spot on. I'll tell you why, and it's not because of the moment. Do you think the moment is...
The Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, which is his best moment. It's incredible.
It's also his best bit of storytelling, because I was one in that match, he just got caned.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of it.
He just got beaten up that entire match.
That's the beauty of it, because he's not trying to present himself as a great wrestler. That's what an underdog is. They're not like going to overpower everyone suddenly. They're going to get beaten up but stay in it, and they've got heart. And like, it's one of the best near falls, honestly, of all time. And
oh my god, they believed it.
I'll fight on that.
The story was so well done that everyone knew Santino wasn't winning. Everyone 100%. There was no one going.
Sheamus would won the Rumble.
Everyone was there going. He's clearly not going to WrestleMania.
Yeah,
that's obviously not going to happen. But it laid doubt in the same way him going in the Royal Rumble the year prior laid doubt. That wasn't a storytelling device necessarily, but because of the way the WWE had presented the story, so it's not necessarily down to him, I would say, but his character work gave him the story. But like, again, people went, are they going to go for a crazy story at WrestleMania, which I actually think they should have done. I think they could forget that. They could even have took him out of the match, but by having that moment of a nobody, effectively, not a main eventer winning the Rumble, I think it's a missed opportunity that WWE have never ever done, and not had a Zack Ryder type wrestler win the Royal Rumble. And I thought that could have been the moment you could have easily, because it wouldn't have been main event anyway, and you could have really done something. I've gone 6.
Okay.
I think because outside of those two, I think his story is the exact same story of the underdog gets beaten up and all that jazz. And I don't really care for that story over and over and over again. His storyline works great. This is storytelling in the ring and that sort of thing. So for me, I think he's a 6.
So I've gone with an 8, not just because of that. I think in general his storytelling is great. Even just in normal matches, it's always funny. There's always something going on. You're always reacting to something that he's doing. Let's not forget the Royal Rumble in 2012. Him and Mr. Socko. That Socko, that is hilarious.
I mean, that's storytelling. It is storytelling.
Because it's part of his character.
No, I know. I'm being mean. I'm being mean.
You are being mean.
I am.
And
I did laugh, but that good grief.
Gets a laugh.
Thanks for reminding me.
In a largely boring Rumble.
Thanks for reminding me of that Rumble.
That was you tell Rumble, but that's something you remember from it. And that Rumble where he nearly beat Del Rio.
Yeah,
yes, the segment that they booked was great in terms of him coming back in and nearly winning it. But he sells it so well.
Yeah, he does.
It's forgotten his emotion where he's going, he's so nervous, he's like...
The fans were going ballistic.
And how he sells it, and he's going mental.
WWE should have seen that and gone, maybe not Del Rio.
Yeah.
Like, even as a heel, the heel still get a response. People are going, no, rather the Italian jobber.
That's, and I'm not being funny, like, if he'd have won, maybe we'd have gone, oh, that was really silly, so maybe it's perfect that it was a nearly thing. And I don't think he should have won the world title. I think it's perfect that it was a nearly thing, and that's brilliant. I think he said that in an interview himself, that he never should have won it. Those nearly moments are special in themselves.
People remember nearly as much as they remember wins.
Absolutely.
Jericho winning the world title the first time against Triple H on Raw with Hebner's fast count.
Exactly.
Everyone remembers that moment. I went, it's just a random thing on Raw. It's just
it's
almost a dusty finish. Yeah, so, it's just a meh, but people remember it. So I understand your storytelling being as high as it is. It's wrong. But I could understand
even when he was a heel. You could tell really good stories. I mean, even when he came in the Rumble that time and just got immediately super kicked by Shawn Michaels, not even the cane bit. In the one before, I'm thinking, I just go back, brilliant, perfect. How many people wouldn't do that and just try and hit them and just get eliminated and nothing really happened? You could tell a story, you could make a moment. You could always make a moment.
Do you know what I will give him for his... I'm going to up it to 7. There you go. And what I'm going to do is, the reason I'm going to up it to 7 is because he made the most of whatever minutes he was given. And that is storytelling then. 100%. And you're absolutely right, I will. And because he did it in the ring, not just outside. So do you know what? I concede, not fully, but I concede I'll give him a 7.
We're converting him.
Yeah. Promo ability, your ability to talk. Let me have a guess for Sam. 9?
I've gone with an 8.
Oh, okay. I've also gone 8.
Yeah. He is fantastic.
He's upper echelon on promo again.
Can we also talk about that's not really appreciated, that he got given an Italian character out of nowhere? He is not Italian.
No, he's very American.
Yeah. And he got given that, and he got like a week to work on an Italian accent.
And not just that, he did it outside. He kept him and Kofi talked about it. The idea that they had to keep that when they were in like the hotel and all that. Like when fans were there, he had to still be Italian. And fair play to it, because it's hilarious.
So he was as funny as he was with having to put on an Italian accent all the time. I'm sorry, there's so many examples, but when he's doing the whole Stone Cold thing, and those are the bottom lines.
I'm sorry, was that your Italian accent?
That's my Santino accent.
Oh, you were a fully trained actor.
Yeah, pretty much.
You went to the Liverpool Institute of Performing Arts.
I'm not saying that my promo skills were an 8. My promo skills, that's all different power ranking.
I always think back to the Tea Time with Seamus, and him just making as many pale jokes and ginger jokes as he could.
And it worked. It's simple, it's basic, but sometimes you just have to stop over intellectualizing
Wrestling should be fun, right?
It can be stupid and funny.
Yeah. If you're sat there going, let's say you're a massive AEW mark and you only care about in-ring work, and that's your big thing, you're missing out on what wrestling should be, which has elements of silly or elements of the supernatural or over the top or whatever it is. And I think Santino really plays into that. And there are so many wrestlers on AEW who do that don't get enough credit, I think, for doing really funny character work. And then when the Bucks suddenly start doing it, it's main event again, and they haven't been main event for ages. And they're going, look at that, It's again. I think his promo skills are hilarious.
Yeah.
I actually think genuinely he's unlucky not to be 9 or 10 because I think the only reason he can't be is he never did anything serious. Yeah. I think if he cut one serious promo, I think he could have been a 10 because I think funny promo cannot rank to the max because that is one string to a bow. It just so happens to be arguably one of the best at being funny. When we do funniest wrestlers, I'm sure he's on both our lists.
100%.
So that's the only thing I'm knocking down. He never did a proper serious promo, which is mean, but 8 definitely. Yeah. We're now going to look at his look. This is his appearance. It could be his general appearance. It could be what he wore, what he did. Santino, I reckon you're going to go lower. 6.
7. I've gone with 7.
I've gone 5, just so you can let where I've gone for.
I just think his look really matched his personality. Like his singlet.
I agree.
He's got his singlet with the Italian flag on, and he's got like some really weird shoes that just work really well because they're daft.
But is it really like? Because my 5 is generally based on him having a monobrow for a while.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, points for that. Come on,
that's what it was. Because
awesome.
I'd have had his look at 3 because I don't think his look actually. Because my other look is for his sock, essentially added to his look as well. But really, he's a kind of averagely looking bloke. His tattoos they don't talk about, which are kind of cool, but that's about it. He hasn't got an amazing body, but that's not needed because he's a comedy wrestler. But he also won the Intercontinental in the United States quite a lot. And I think that's a big problem with the look not matching. Because when you're going to go, but it suits his look, and then you're like, but I look for the majority when he's doing kind of real things. Yeah. So I was a bit like, because at first he was just in black trunks.
Oh, yeah.
And he looks awful.
But it almost suited it because he was supposed to be a randomer who came in from the crowd and now is a wrestler. So
he just happened to be a wrestler. That was the worst thing about it. Remember, by the way, we are marking these at what we presume to be their best. And I don't see him any higher than a 5's look.
I've got 7. Maybe I'm being a bit biased on this one.
I think so.
But I always really enjoyed his appearance, is all I'm saying.
I enjoyed his appearance.
I just think it worked for what it was. It's one of those So you talk about how he was mid-card champion a lot. In this era now, where the IC and the US titles are treated with a lot more respect, I probably wouldn't give it to him nowadays.
Unless Logan Paul's got it.
But even then, any nice guy, but it's a bigger deal. I think I wouldn't give it to him now, or very rarely. Whereas I think then it was just you giving him a card.
Yeah, no, I
love Santino.
I get that. But can I just throw one more thing on the look? If you definitely want to go with a 7, because we did say that we always do it at their best unless there's something that we need to use that we cannot ignore. Santino Marella.
Oh well, we could do a power ranking on Santino, but this is Santino.
No.
You don't know that was Santino. That was his twin sister, son. That was his twin sister.
That's Jar Jar Binks.
Well, that wasn't great, was it? It was the 25th anniversary, which wasn't, but it's supposed to be a special celebration of women.
Vince doesn't know what the word anniversary means.
But it was supposed to be a celebration of the women's division, and Santino won it.
Yeah. There was famous wrestlers in that match.
Molly Holly was just in there.
Sonny was in it, and you're like, are you going to mention any of these people? No, they're just going to gyrate on Kid Rock, and then it won by a man.
Yeah.
And you think his look's a 7?
Well, that's Santino. That's not Santino.
That's Jar Jar Binks. We now move on to the entrance, which I just found out is Santino's name. Santino. It doesn't sound that way. It doesn't.
It is. From when I was 9, I knew that they were saying Santino Marella.
It's just
Hi, me again. So sorry to interrupt, but you know that guy was calling an idiot earlier? Yeah, turns out he was an idiot at 9 and he's an idiot at 25. Nothing has changed. And also to the cheery 33-year-old sat next to him, I'd like to say that you're a bit of a fool as well because you let the idiot convince you. This is a PSA. Don't let the youth, even with their blind confidence, change your mind. Google. Let Google change your mind. Thank you.
It didn't sound like Santino to me.
It was.
So there you go.
Yeah.
What did you? I reckon your entrance. You're going to say it's a 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
I'm just going to give it a 7.
I've got a 6.
Okay.
I like the Italian thing. I think it suits it perfectly.
Yeah.
I like him coming out doing the trumpet, but that's about it. There's not much else going on really.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm giving it a 7. I really liked it, and I just thought it's just so like...
You knew it was the minute it started?
You did, but
Yeah.
it's almost like how seriously the entrance takes itself is why it's funny.
the silly power
it's the
walk.
power walk as well. It's like, come on.
Make the most of your entrance. If you got an entrance, do
Yeah,
an
yeah.
entrance. Don't just walk to the ring. Do an entrance.
Yeah.
Do something. And he did. I didn't care for the entrance. In fact, I think there's a little bit of burden. After a while, I got PG-itis, and Santino was a big thing for me. So actually hearing his music gives me an element of, ugh. Even if I'm actually gone back around like, oh yeah, Santino. I don't know why. It's like cognitive.
Yeah.
I just hear his music and go,
That you associate it with that era, which is why I think he gets a lot of hate. Which is
I
why
don't
I
think it's
champion.
hate. I think just don't people laud it very
People
well.
think of Santino and they don't think of positive stuff. They think of Teddy Long, like 2010 SmackDown. Yeah, all that stuff, which I get. And I don't-
1-on-1 with the Undertaker.
I'm not championing all that stuff. I'm just championing
Santi.
Santino.
We're now looking at Santino's heel work. Now, I know you're a massive fan of Santino's heel work because it's mainly just with Beth.
Yeah.
But I know you've going to have forgotten something, which is where my score is going to be different to yours because I know your score is going to be about an 8.
It's an 8, yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with 6
Okay.
because I've already think I've named what your main heel stuff is. The stuff with Beth's brilliant, right?
Yeah.
Do you not remember then what follows it? He then starts going out with Maria. And that's what tanks Santino's career for ages. This terrible heel stuff, trying to stop her from doing Playboy. You know, they did the beer bash with Stone Cold.
Oh, because he got... Oh, no, that's Chavo who got hit
Yeah.
by Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, but Santino's
Yeah.
stopping her from doing Playboy, like trying to cover up, doing the whole kind of like Mark Marrow, Mike Knox type gimmick,
Yeah.
and it's awful. And that's it. His heel run is literally the Beth stuff, and that's pretty much it, really. So I've gone with 6 because the Beth stuff's great. Hilarious way of winning the Intercontinental title. Beth is a straight guy. We talked about it in Beth's rankings. If you want to go watch Beth's rankings, we talked about it a little bit less because it's probably Beth's stuff, ironically. But it does move on to Maria. Is before or after? I can't generally remember which. But it's not good, and it's so bad that that's what I remember when I think of his heel run. Is actually arguably his most serious stuff. It's not comedy heel, so I can't go any higher than a 6 because of how bad that stuff is.
I get it, but I know we've got to look at all of it.
Do you really think in the history of wrestling, Santino is an 8 heel? When you think about other people we've ranked at 8s and stuff like that, do you really think
he's
he's
got different styles of heel?
No, agreed. But do you really, if you were putting them in, if they were in the room and you were giving them, and you go, okay, you go to the 10, you go to the 9, you go to 8, would you really be like, Santino, go stand next to these unbelievable heels?
Well, I think if you're talking unbelievable, you go 9, 10. I think.
Oh,
8.
come on, 8's still pretty high.
Oh, it's still pretty high, and I'm justifying why he's so high. He is a comedy heel,
Can I
and
have a
he's
quick question? Is your heel higher than your face?
Yeah, 100%.
Well, then you're a bloody idiot.
I love him as a face.
Hang on. Let's go move to babyface. Back to babyface, right? So you've got heel is at 8, right?
Yeah.
And I've got heel at 6. What have you got at babyface then?
I've got 7.
But his work is amazing as a face. That's what everyone laughs at. That's his humour. Everything that's memorable.
Yeah, maybe I should have
Everything that's memorable that you've mentioned is all babyface. The Beth stuff was good, but that was it for like a year, if that. And the other 10 years was all babyface work, all hilarious. Every moment you've mentioned, you think he was better in that 6 month where he abused Maria and did a tiny bit as Beth's lackey as China Eddie Guerrero 2.0. You think that's better than his babyface run? Would you like to change your heel or babyface score?
I would just like to just have a moment to speak. I would. Right, okay. I think I did this a few months ago. And I think in my mind, I've gone, I really, really like his heel work, but I think I also realised I was giving him a lot of high scores. So I think I can't give Santino...
No, you score whatever you need to score.
No, I agree. I think that's...
Say it this way, if you think someone is scoring too highly, that's you going, I have been too bad. You should have then fixed your other scores.
I did what I did. Right? I think as a face, I loved him. I think in my mindset, what I've justified as, and I think this is probably wrong, so I'm probably going to move the face up to an 8. But I think what I've gone is...
So Santino's now getting a bigger score now.
Because I've gone, in my mind, as a face, he was great, but he had a ceiling.
Yes.
And also, heel Santino also had a ceiling.
So which was lower than his face, though, I felt.
Yeah, for me, I just think it's the stuff with Stone Cold and John Cena and just trying to be like, and then just gets absolutely destroyed by people. And the dynamic with Beth was so good, and it was really fresh, and I really liked it. And as much, I'm going to contradict myself.
You are.
But as a face, as brilliant as he was, and he was really funny, I never thought it suited him as much as being a heel. Now, I think he got so over as a heel that they needed to make him a face, and it worked.
And then he became overly child-friendly.
This is the
therefore
thing.
Stopped being able to do anything of any note. Kind of like our truth.
It limited him.
Yeah,
I really do think, and it did. So as much as I defend him, I think it did get a bit silly towards the end.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
Silly's good, but there's a level of silly where it's just like, okay. So I get where it comes from. I'm just championing him. I think as a performer, he was brilliant. And because he was brilliant, they gave him some stupid stuff and just went, make this work. So hence his face stuff suffered a little bit.
I think the reason I disagree with you is because the minute he was in the world title in the Royal Rumble, which isn't long after he finished, to be honest, the pops were enormous. Yeah. And that was because of his babyface work and being so well liked. And all his humour came from those moments. So I just think that you either have to have them the same or better.
I think I'm going to push him up to an 8.
Yeah. So you're going to keep heel at an 8?
Yeah, I'll stand by it.
Okay, I've got babyface as an 8. Again, I think more people would understand it if they were in the category. So they were sat down and Santino came and walked into the 8 section. I think they go, oh no, you are quite a funny babyface. But if they're heel, they would just look at him and go, what are you doing here? So, fair enough. Let's just get that flicking changed. There you go, there's your 8. Yep. And I'm also going 8 for his babyface. We now move into the gimmick and the personality, which I think kind of negates where they are generally on the card. Sam, surely you've got them high for gimmick, surely? 9?
I'm looking at the list that I've opened today. It says 7. I've gone 7, and I think it should be higher. I disagree with myself from a few months ago.
You could have just done it prior. You could have just fixed it.
Yeah, I did this a few months ago, and I just opened my notes document, and I've gone, it's a 7. It should probably be higher. I think what I've gone again, it's not quite main event level, but then I haven't used that
But gimmick and personality isn't how you become a main event.
I agree, and I haven't used that as the logic with the other scores.
No.
So I've just been very inconsistent.
Because can I just point out, I've got gimmick at 9.
Yeah,
I think the gimmick and the personality's got both, right? Because sometimes people don't have a gimmick, and we have to mark on who they are as a person. And then some people have a gimmick rather than a personality. So the last one we did was Boogeyman. Didn't really have a personality, it was more of a gimmick. And then we've done people like, say, Beth Phoenix, who is more of a personality rather than a gimmick. Santino's got both, and both got so over in different ways. His heel stuff was hilarious, but it really was over, and the annoying stuff. And then his babyface role and what he did as that kind of underdog, and then the silliness and all that lot. I think it's a 9. I really do. I think it's up that echelon.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking a few months ago when I did this. So yeah, I'll go with a 9 as well.
Are you going to jump it to a 9?
Yeah, no, because it just makes sense.
Okay.
I think I was going, it's not a main event gimmick, but you don't have to be
No,
main event gimmick.
it's a gimmick's a gimmick.
Yeah,
it's a gimmick.
No, I agree.
It's about getting over as a wrestler. Yeah. I respect wrestlers who go, I'm not here to win. I'm not here to, I don't care about that. I'm not here for my position on the card. I'm here to entertain fans. And the people who remember that are the people who end up being remembered for the rest of their life. I can name you wrestlers. Already Santino and R-Truth are great examples. They didn't need to win world titles and stuff like that. But you could even go into silly gimmicks like The Godfather as an example. Are you telling me he was going out there to go, oh, I want to get my main event, I need to get my position on the card? No. Of course he wasn't. So, no, I think, I'm 9, and you're 9 as well now.
I've gone 9. I don't know what I was thinking, frankly.
Over and a draw, how well liked were the card? How much money did they draw? Sam, high? 8?
8. I've gone 8.
I've gone 7.
Okay.
Which I have to admit, I was bouncing between 7 and 8, because my first thought was, how many sock thingies do you reckon he sold? Like, I remember Lance Storm was like saying how rubbish it was. And you're like, it's on the lower. It was like when he was with Great Khali and stuff. Like I remember there was a thing where Great Khali was going like doo 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 doo, and the snake was coming back to life. And I think Lance Storm was like rubbishing that. I was like, oh yeah, but he sold more merch than you've ever done. So shut up. But so he probably sold a lot of merch. He was over as proven by the Royal Rumble and stuff. But I always think you cannot go further. I don't think 7 or 8. Actually, I was bouncing which one it was. And I think the reason I've got mine is because I think overall he's an 8. But the fact that I kept groaning by the end particularly is like, his best has been chipped away by the era and everything that was happening. So that's why I couldn't go any higher.
Yeah, I can absolutely understand that point. I've gone with an 8 because I think he was over, and obviously the merch, but like he would get pops, and I think in an era where you had a lot of bland characters.
Oh, no characters.
No. It just all of a sudden became unfashionable to have any kind of character or story, really. And he...
Or just having all got real names. Zack Ryder,
Yeah.
Jack Swagger,
And
Evan Bourne. It was all that sort of era.
Absolutely that era. And I think in that particular time, he always got a pop. Everyone was always excited to see him. And I think some of the live event videos that I've seen him do...
Oh my God, madness.
He is one of the best people on live events. He would always... make you go home and you've had a laugh.
You have, yeah.
You've had a laugh, and he never took himself that seriously. And
Did you not start groaning though when you got a little bit older and Santino had come
I
out?
think around this point I'd stopped watching for a little bit. Around when he started to get stale.
Punk come back, and that's got me back. And then I was watching that sort of era.
Yeah,
so
and
I
then
want to watch Punk, and then
this
clown comes out.
No, I get it. I absolutely get that point of view. I just think, I think because he was such a great performer, he was given silly, stupid stuff, and I don't think that necessarily should reflect on Santino. I think it should more reflect on WWE at that time.
Yeah, but I still think it's him.
I get it. I get it.
Fair enough. You always end on a finisher. I think we're going to have a difference of opinion here. Sam, finisher.
What do you think of giving it, Sam?
Too highly. I don't care what the number is, it's too high.
8. And I'll tell you why. No, hold on, I'll tell you. So, what would you give the Worm, for example, from Scott Too High? Just humour me. What would you give? Yeah, there you go. Okay, so is that a very devastating move? No, it's not. Okay, is it a silly move? Yes. So why is the Cobra any different? It always got a massive pop, and it was protected. It was protected. People didn't kick out of it. Daniel Bryan kicked out of it, and it was one of the best near falls you've ever seen. Why? Because no one kicked out the Cobra, so people thought, oh my God, oh my God. It's a fantastic finisher. It's like Mr. Socko. It's got a whole gimmick to it with the sock.
Mr. Socko was choking.
Yeah, I know it's a mad call, but the Worm's just doing that on someone.
Oh yeah, I know, but the Worm I wouldn't actually probably rank 11. It's probably about a 3 in reality.
You would definitely give it an 11.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm giving this an 8, so I think I'm being quite generous here. I think I'm being quite reasonable.
What would you give the Worm?
It wasn't my time. I'd probably give it a 6.
Okay, Santino's Cobra is a 2. It is one of the worst finishers in wrestling history. He jabs people in the neck, which is fair enough, whatever. But you think about every move, he's also hitting that thing, and then he jabs him with a snake. I hated the Cobra. I think it's stupid. Let's be honest, it's the people's elbow of, like, moves. It is showmanship, but in reality, it's a terrible move, and I think you have to balance that terrible move with the showmanship, and in my eyes, at first it was entertaining, and then it got really stupid. I'm sorry it's a 2, and I'm not going to budge on that. The Cobra is a 2. We've come to the end of our probably longest power ranking video. How much do we love Santino Marella? Sam, what was your overall score for Santino Marella?
I've gone 76.
Jesus Christ.
You've got to look at the performer.
Isn't that like bigger than Bret Hart?
No, I think I had Bret Hart around 80. I'll have to check that.
No, Bret Hart overall got 159.
Yeah, that was your fault. I ranked him higher than you. That's on you. That's not on me.
Are you saying that Bret and Santino are really close?
I'd love to see that match. The excellence of execution.
I've gone 63 because I think that's probably correct.
I went a bit mental.
You've gone way too mental here. So Santino Marella has got an overall score of 139. So first of all, I'm actually going to show the mid-card leaderboard. He's an Intercontinental United States Championship, and he's gone into first place by 1 point over Carlito. You think Carlito is worse than Santino Marella.
That's not an insult whatsoever.
I think
there's no shame in that.
Santino Marella could have been main event. Carlito could have been main event, and you think Santino was better, but that's whatever.
He came close to winning the world
But
title.
because of your idiotic ranking system, we now go to the overall leaderboard, in which we've had quite a few male wrestlers there, and Carlito has dropped down from third place, and Santino is in third place on the overall leaderboard.
I stand by it.
We've had 6 wrestlers, and Santino is into third. He's into the bronze medal position with 139.
Where he shall remain throughout the entirety of the series, I'm sure. Who is he beaten? What wrestlers?
Carlito, Big Show, and Boogeyman.
I stand by all of those.
No, I'll stand by one of them.
Show.
But anyway, thank you for joining us and watching Sam have his magical jaunt in his generation. We've done too much of my generation. You deserved a bit of Santino.
This has been quite therapeutic, actually.
And maybe,
I've enjoyed this.
in advance, look at your scores beforehand. I think they need a revise. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we shall see you next time. Did it actually hurt? Because I think he did it.
Devastating. Get an ambulance.
But I didn't have the sock on.
Well, that's why I did that. So that's why I can still speak.
Ah,
Otherwise, I'd be just unconscious.
fair enough.